In the Ketu South Municipality alone, over 2,000 persons are reported to have lost their homes to the flooding, which came as a result of about 3 weeks continuous downpour in the constituency. Several schools have had to come to a standstill while others managed to access the classroom some way. The MCE for the area says that there are plans to provide some temporary relief.
Yes, actually, luckily for us, everybody have a close relative around. What actually is happening is, this is an unexpected thing that happened. We didn't prepare any place now for them to lay their heads. I had a chat with some of the chiefs in the areas that they can find a place for them, especially we are advising people who have close relatives around that they can stay there for a time whilst we work on something as quickly as possible.
The Assembly says some roads constructed in the community by an individual a few years ago could be blamed for the flooding situation. The roads were supposed to have some culverts to allow the free flow of water through them. Unfortunately, those were not constructed by the individual who, out of his sheer benevolence, constructed those roads for the people. Now, some communities, he says, are refusing to allow for the cutting of those roads to allow for free flow of water.
We have to quickly work on the short-term solution, the medium-term and the long-term solution. As you can see now, surprisingly, the flood is all over. We've never experienced this before. What we are doing as Assembly, quickly, if you can see the NADMO, we quickly called on the NADMO from the regional level to come and help us, especially those who are affected, those who doesn't have a place to lay their heads now, what we can quickly do to assist them. But apart from that, as we went around, you can realize that we need to create a way or a path for the water to flow into the bigger lagoon. That is what we actually going to do now. I just call for some of the chiefs in the various areas. When we went to some of the areas, the citizens or the people in the area at the other side, they are scared that if we open that path, the water may even affect them. We have to sit down and convince them that they will not sit down for the water to affect them. So as much as quickly I called for all those matters, the stakeholders, so that we can see a way of quickly finding a path for the water to flow into the bigger lagoon.
Residents who have been displaced are complaining that they are unable to have their regular livelihoods. They are requesting for help from the government.
Tawe ba mi hula mi ama homa vechi mi ano viobo ta pa anya fudara na mi sukuvio ha oba sukuyi ya azudo ta uchi apam o awe ba mi magati asili mo araba dana chicho gafi vo o ama chichila mama la silo kana gafi achuchi ta aglangara la mi anchi
even the children don't know how to do, so we need the help. That we need to give us courage.
What help do you need?
Help of something like a bridge. If the bridge or any kind of like a canoe, any kind of help that we need to cross to other side or go to school or to the market center. That's what we need.
The MCE for the area, Honorable Maxwell Lugudo, says he has discussed with the educational authorities to have business schools closed down in the meantime.
Going around, you can see I was discussing this with the masters or the headmasters of the school. I even called the regional director, the municipal director of education, that as for the lower level, for instance, the kids, the kindergartens, I don't think their exams, even though it's necessary, not that to the extent where we should be losing a life. So I asked them to release those kids to be in the house because even Friday they'll be vacating on Friday. So there is no difference between today and Friday. Looking at the water level, I don't think we have to allow them to come in. So they have agreed to let the lower level be in the house while the JSS who are writing their exams, they can manage it themselves till the Friday.
The Volta Regional Director of the National Disaster Management Organization, Madam Ivy Amawuga, says she's filing her reports to the National Operations Team to secure some relief items for the affected persons.
With what we have gotten and the figures that we have gotten now on ground, my operations team are already compiling the reports. We are going to send some reports to the headquarters operation team even before we get to home from here. So some relief will be given to those who need them.
Meanwhile, in Ketu municipality as well, several communities have suffered the floods. And in the Ketu Business College, popularly known as Ketabusco, the kitchen is out of service because the floodwaters have inundated the area, including the switch oven that they use with firewood to cook for the students. Now cooking now happens in the dining hall, and so the students are now compelled to eat their food in another facility which is being built to be a dining hall, which is yet to be completed. So Madam Matilda Jotepe is the headmistress for the Ketu Business College, what we popularly refer to as Ketabusco, and the school has been dealing with the floods as well. We'll find out from her how they've been managing the situation. Madam, thanks for joining us. This time the flood is here again. How are you managing the situation as we speak?
So in managing the situation, we have the management met, and the decision taken is that we have to relocate some of the students or the classes. As for the dormitories, we don't have any place where we can relocate them. When the first years came initially, they were using the old girls' dormitory, but now the Form 3s too have come to school, so the place is full. We have to put in place some temporary measures and make sure that maybe we pack some blocks where they can step and then move to the main dormitories, whilst the Form 3s maintain their old dormitory. And as you can see, we have made some temporary bridge on which the students, they walk to the dormitory. So for now, that is what we have done. But we have informed the municipal chief executive of Ketu, the municipal director of education Ketu, then the regional director of education is also aware. So they are putting their heads together to see further what they can do to help us remedy the situation we find ourselves in.
Okay. But I also see that the kitchen it's barely accessible, and the kitchen women are now cooking in a different facility. Tell me about this.
Yeah, as you all know, students are in school, we need to feed them. There is no way we can say because of the rain, students are not going to eat. So the only option is that we have to relocate the students. This is our dormitory, the old dormitory. The new one is over there. It has not been completed, but we have no option than to send our tables and then benches to that place and allow the kitchen women to use this place as their kitchen in the meantime, until we see what we can do about the kitchen. And even the kitchen is not a permanent kitchen. We have a permanent kitchen that is under construction, but because it is not completed, that is why we are facing this situation. So I want to appeal to government to come to our aid. The work left on the kitchen and the dining hall, I don't think it is so much. So I'm appealing to the government to come to our aid by completing the dining hall and the kitchen complex. Because once we have seen that this is a perennial issue and it will occur again if the correction is not done.
Thank you very much. That's Madam Matilda Jotepe. She is the headmistress of Ketabusco, which is within the Ketu municipality, another institution that has suffered the flooding that is impacting the entire coastal belt of the Volta region.
Ketu district, currently where we are now, is the Ketabusco campus, and as you can see, even the kitchen is flooded so seriously that the staff have to move and use the dining hall as the kitchen for now. So that is the situation here, very bad. And then the girls' dormitory in front of it is also flooded, and you can see that some wooden bridge have been provided for the girls to use in entering their dormitories. Currently, that is the situation here. And I learned there's a new site which is also another dormitory, and that place is also flooded, about 12 apartments. That's also equally flooded. So from here, from the kitchen, we'll be moving towards the new site, and we see the extent of damage that has been caused.
What relief are you able to provide these people, the students of Kitabusko?
Okay, so currently, looking at the situation, we need to make sure that they get their kitchen back. So speaking to my municipal director, he indicated that they just closed from a MUSEC meeting where a decision has been taken that the water will be pumped from the flooded areas. But the situation is where to pump the water. But they have identified the football park, which is also flooded already. But it is assumed that that place cannot be used for some number of maybe days or weeks. So for now, what we need is to pump the water, and then the fire service was part of the MUSEC, and they have been contacted per the report I have received from my municipal director.
Okay, so I'm sure other homes or communities within the Keta district would also be suffering this. What report do you have, and what's the way around it?
Okay, so on the individual homes and then the churches, some places have been earmarked that equally this measure as in pumping the water. So they have been able to identify some places that the water there can be pumped to other places where the people can have their homes back. So for now, that is the interim measures that has been put in place.
Let's talk about long-term, the safety of the people, because it looks like the rains would come for a few more days before they stop. What is the, at least medium to long-term solution to this problem? Okay,
so some sort of relief will be given to them. As in, for now, we need to provide some Wellington boots, and then those whose homes have been flooded, some mattresses and then other things must be provided for them to aid them for now. That is the medium term. But for the long term, I'll leave that to the MUSEC to take the decision currently, because I think the experts know what is causing the problem, and that is my municipal director is also part of MUSEC. So when they take that decision, reports will be sent to the region, whereby we will also make our efforts to make sure that those decisions are done.
Thank you very much. Ivy Amauga is the Volta Regional Director of the National Disaster Management Organization, and the situation is that there's severe flooding in several parts of the coastal belt of the Volta region, from Keta down towards Ketu South, and we are currently at the Keta Business College, where water has taken over the kitchen and cooking is being done in the dining facility, and the students are compelled to feed in other facilities that are available, even though they are not completed.